Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Joey Galvez, one half of your host of Explain Yourself, and I want to let you guys know about a really cool book from our friend of the show, Eli Shockey. This one is called The Greylock, and it's a story where magic is a commodity. Potions are sold at corner stores. Orcs and dwarves earn a living in cubicles, not on the battlefields. But there are those who resist the house's magic's laws. Branded a criminal and forced to live as a wand for hire, there is a spell slinger they call the Greylock. Check this one out. You guys can pre-order issue 3 right now with code JAN241939, and make sure you guys are heading over to your favorite LCS and letting them know that you want Greylock number 3, and maybe pick up the first 2 issues. You could do that at the Scout web store. So make sure you guys are grabbing the Greylock number 3, JAN241939 at previewsworld.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me via Zoom is
Maximilian, Robot Maximilian.
Okay.
You remember the character from, what was it called, The Black Hole?
Yes.
Disney's answer to Star Wars. That was one of the Robot Maximilian, who was built by the dude on the ship, and he was like, I guess like the guy's only companion or whatever. Then he killed one of the guys, and then the guy who built the ship was like, he was so angry because he turned to Maximilian and he just said, "Maximilian, you shouldn't have done that." You know, because that's your response. Like when someone kills someone in front of you, that's the proper emotional response to that is, you shouldn't have done that.
That's what I've done every time anybody's killed somebody in front of me.
Yeah, you know. I mean, I guess it's a good way of like compartmentalizing, the situation. I guess so. You're not, It's like, I guess it is a way of just shutting things down. Like, you shouldn't have done that. And then when you get home, you can start crying, having panic attacks. I guess.
Yeah.
But or have it come out in really weird ways, just out of the blue, like for no reason. Anyways, my name's Maximilian now. So
okay, so Maximilian, I had an issue this week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I went to heat up some nacho cheese yesterday in my microwave, and my microwave started smoking, which is a bad habit for a microwave to start doing, Yeah.
Yeah. Good thing.
I tried to fix it with a nicotine patch, but it didn't work.
Those don't work on everyone, so, it's really a crapshoot.
So, I just threw it away, like you do anybody that starts smoking. And,
Whoa. I just threw you away.
And then I decided to, just buy a new one. So anyways, but really, seriously though, freaked me out. My microwave started sparking and smoking.
Was it vaping, man? Do you have vapors coming out of it? Because vaping's cooler than smoking, man.
It's bad.
No, I love like the wars between smoking and vaping now, because like both people are putting out commercials saying that the other is worse than the other, but they're both being funded by opposite propaganda networks. So you're not even really getting the truth either way. You're just getting different industries talking bad about the other industry. Like vaping's even worse than smoking. And it's like, okay, who paid for that ad? Oh, I got you, tobacco company. Okay, well that makes sense. And then,
yeah, of course.
The vaping's got a commercial saying like, "Oh, smoking's bad for you." Oh, it's paid for by a vape company or a vape industry. Oh man, and it's like, where can I get some actual truth here? I mean, I'm pretty sure both are bad for you, but anyway, sorry. So like, my microwave broke on Wednesday or Thursday.
Really?
So and the things, mine was only not even 2 years yet. It was like, oh well, got it back in like March 2020, so not even 2 years yet. And so I'm starting to think there's a conspiracy here. I think that they make microwaves on purpose to break down around the 2 year mark, so then you have to go buy another microwave.
Because I haven't had mine. I had mine for about 2 years too, maybe at the most, maybe a year or so. But I did get the 2-year protection plan on the new one I bought, just in case it does this again. But with my luck, it'll happen like right after the 2-year protection plan ends.
Yeah, that's why they force you to buy it, because they're like, oh, you don't have to buy it if you don't want to. Wink, wink. And then the microwave breaks down. So they're like, oh, well, I guess you should have bought that warranty. It's like, well, the warranty is officially part of the price of the microwave. So what you're essentially saying is if you don't pay this extra price, we're going to punish you for it. So you better cough up the extra however many dollars to get the goddamn warranty. This whole thing's a racket. And then, so like mine wasn't smoking, but it just wouldn't turn off at all, literally. Like if you, the timer went off and the thing was still cooking. So, glad that, I was there.
Nice.
Out. But when you close the door again, we just keep going, and there was no way to stop it. Just had to literally unplug it to stop it. And then like a day later, plugged it back in, and the same thing happened. Just straight went on again. So I'm like, okay, well, this thing's broken. And
anyways, speaking of things that don't work properly anymore, today we are covering Home Sweet Home Alone, the 6th movie in the Home Alone franchise.
Yep.
Which premiered on Disney Plus Day this year, November 12th, on Disney Plus.
Oh.
And yes, this is
for Disney Plus.
What's that?
I didn't know they had a day for Disney Plus.
It's the 2-year anniversary of the start of Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they have an official holiday now. We will be celebrating that in the future. It'll be... Kids will get off school in the future, and, Yeah.
And that would be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, when Disney takes over the whole world. And,
yeah. Company town's more like a company world, so everyone's going to work at Disney.
Yes, so...
the mouse has...
We'll all live in mouse houses. So this movie, which is kind of a soft reboot of the Home Alone franchise, it's produced by 20th Century Studios, which is the studio that Disney now owns. It used to be 20th Century Fox, who produced the other wonderful Home Alone films, which we've covered one of.
Yeah, we have. It was 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this one has a great cast, actually, who are unfortunately in this movie. We have Archie Yates from Jojo Rabbit as Max Mercer, who is the new Kevin McAllister, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Got Rob Delaney as Jeff McKenzie. Ellie Kemper as Pam McKenzie. They're the new robbers in this movie. Aisling B as Carol Mercer, Max's mom. We got Kenan Thompson in here as a real estate agent, Gavin Washington. Tim Simmons as Jeff's brother Hunter. Allie Mackey as May, Hunter's wife. Pete Holmes as Uncle Blake Mercer. Chris Parnell as Uncle Stu Mercer. Andy Daly as Mike Mercer, the father. You've got Mikey Day in there as a priest. You got Jim Rash in there as a bell choir leader. So you got a good cast here.
Yeah.
You also have Devin Rattray, who plays Buzz McAllister in Home Alone 1 and 2, reprising his role here now where he's a cop.
So, this is actually part of the Home Alone cinematic universe, if you will. Because part 3 and 4 and 5 are not connected to
4 is.
Oh, 4 is?
Well, 4 is the same character, different actors.
Really?
Well, yeah, remember we watched that one? It was Kevin who played
That was Kevin? Okay, it was like a while ago.
Yeah,
Alright, so 1, 2, 4, and 6 are technically linked. Now we have to have a Home Alone cinematic universe. We've got MCU, so now we have to have a, HACCU as well, so...
Yeah.
We have to have Buzz, which... I have to say, was it the same actor as Buzz?
Yeah.
I have to say, I think he's aged pretty well, because that movie's like 30 years old. Like, you know what I mean?
He looks about the same, except for with a beard.
Yeah, and he was already like a teenager at the time, when that came out. So, yeah, at first I thought it was I know sometimes I have an issue with, like, some people's faces look like someone else to me, but there's, for a second I thought that was a dude from This Is Us, Toby. And I realized, like, it's not Toby.
Yeah, he's like my age. He's like 44, so, yeah.
Yeah, I figured he was probably around, because I'm just trying to think. 92, I think, is when Home Alone came out.
Yeah.
91.
90. Yeah.
It was 90? Okay.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so he's a cop. He's, interesting character. He's not in it that much, but...
But that's the way they connected to the first 2 movies. At least, Buzz does appear in 4, but played by a different actor. So in this movie, we have it starting out with this couple named Jeff and Pam McKenzie who are trying to sell their house, but they're keeping it from their children, like you do, Jeff has lost his job, and Pam is a teacher and not making enough because most teachers don't make enough.
Yeah.
And so they're going to sell their home. They have like an open house thing going on. They have this, his brother's going to stay with them for the holidays. And his brother's much more successful and rich and all that shit.
Yeah.
But during the open house, which their real estate agent is played by Kenan Thompson from SNL, and Kenan and all that, and Kenan and Kel,
all that,
and
all that shit.
Yeah, one of the most underrated comic actors in our generation, in my opinion, honestly. So, yeah. What were you gonna say?
Oh, no, just saying he is one of the most underrated.
Yeah,
like comedic actors, really, this generation, really.
Yeah, longest serving cast member in the history of SNL. So
crazy.
Yeah.
How many? We're talking about how many? What? Just 17 years at this point, something like that, or
I don't know if it's been that long, but it's pretty long.
Yeah,
it's been at least over a decade. So during the open house, we meet on the way. We cut to meeting Max Mercer and his mom Carol.
Yeah.
Max has to pee, so they see that there's an open house, so they go over to the McKenzie's house to basically so Max can use the restroom, and they pretend that they're it's like he's the mom's teaching the kid to lie early.
Yeah, we see a lot of deception already in place in this family home. So
yes. So yes. Oh god, this movie was okay. Anyway, so they stop by to use the restroom. Max has a brief exchange with Jeff, who shows him like a box of old dolls, including a malformed one with an upside down face.
Ugh.
Yeah. Carol comes to find Max. During that scene too, Max wanted to have some kind of sugary soda, energy drink sort of thing or something. And Jeff, like a good person, says, maybe you should ask your parents because this has got a lot of sugar in it,
Yeah, exactly. What a good person would do is,
Yeah.
I don't have the authority to give you junk, so I'm not going to just go ahead and give a child, something that could potentially harm them.
Yeah.
Or, that their parents just might not want them to have for whatever reason because their parents, that's what who's in charge of the child, and the child is their charge, not some random stranger that they first met. By the way, he was being a complete brat and asshole to the guy in the house we just eat in. So
he was good at that. Carol comments on how that dolls with the unusual deformities like that she saw on like Antiques Roadshow, that it was worth a lot of money, and that they're worth like $200,000 or something. So Max and Carol return home, and then we've got the whole kind of like scene similar to the original Home Alone, where the whole family is preparing to leave for Tokyo this time for the holidays.
Yep.
With Carol leaving earlier than the rest of the family because they're stuck on 2 different flights. So Max is just pissed off at all, everything. So he decides to hide in the garage and in a parked car, watching some Looney Tunes, which I thought was interesting that he's watching Looney Tunes in a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there's a comment there or not.
I don't know. It's just interesting that, we're watching some Warner Brothers property in a Disney film. But, yeah, you think they would have, put on some Mickey Mouse shit or something, But...
Yeah. It's Max. I mean, he's a character.
But it's probably a commentary on the fact that the Home Alone movies are pretty slapsticky, like the Roadrunner and Coyote, things are.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So he falls asleep in the car, and then the next morning, he's basically forgotten by his dumb uncle, played by Pete Holmes. And we have that same morning, Jeff goes to retrieve the doll because he knew how much it was worth, and he believes that Max stole it because of the situation. So he remembers their name because they said their names out loud. And,
yeah,
like you do.
Exactly.
So Jeff goes to retrieve the doll, finds out it's missing in there. He believes that Max stole it, and he ends up locating the Mercer household the next day, only to find that the whole family is hastily leaving. During the commotion, he overhears the security code, which is 1112.
But she's like, that's actually a good code. I'm like, is it?
No, he actually
really?
He said that was a bad code.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he says that's not a good code.
It's a pretty shitty code.
Yeah. So the next day he tells his wife Pam about the doll, and so they know that everybody's leaving. So also they hid the key under a planted pot in a a potted plant, not a planted pot. That's
Yeah.
Have you ever planted a pot? You just get it out of your cupboard and put it in the ground.
They grow into like a bigger pot. Yeah. Like a huge chili. Like you put like a whole town's worth of chili, and you just have a big.
If you water them right, then you get like a whole like Corningware set. It's really cool.
Yeah. That's what we got to start doing. We got to start engineering plants that can grow like objects, and that's how we like sustain ourselves. Like, oh well, we can't make any more pots anymore, so now we got to grow a plant that makes pots for us, and then we just go. And then same thing for cars, like a car plant, like not a factory that makes cars, like an actual plant that grows vehicles, and not sure what to do with the gasoline part though. I might have to figure out something else for that, but
they'll just make electric cars.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. It'll just grow Teslas, and
yeah. But we'll take away the guy from Tesla. We'll take away Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Like, no, we don't need you anymore. We never really did, but.
Anyways, Matt, do you want to take a quick break here before we can talk more about the plot of Home Sweet Home Alone?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be right back, folks.
What is Gen X? What is the silent generation? What do generations have in common? Hi, I'm Trish the Dish from the Gen X Voice podcast, and I invite you to listen to conversations I have with folks from different generations, backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences in an attempt to see what connects rather than divides us. Even though Gen X has been called slackers, Karens, or not mentioned at all in some cases, we are the bridge generation, so I feel compelled to do my part to destroy ageism by bringing all these voices together. And, as a bonus, each guest gets to answer some 80s questions at the end of each show. So download and listen to Gen X Voice today on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And let's see how much we have in common after all.
Hi, this is Catherine, host of a new fashion podcast, The Real Fashion School Dropout. Join me as I interview guests every week in the fashion and beauty space, and we gossip on all things fashion and beauty, and even get into some personal stories of their journey in the industry. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Hope to see you there.
Okay, and we are back.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sitting here. I'm home alone.
Yeah, watching Home Alone.
Yes. Like you do.
Like you do, yeah.
So, we have this situation now. Jeff McKenzie's telling his wife about what's going on, and they decide that they're going to go steal the doll at night.
Yeah. Like responsible adults would do.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because I like the fact that he just automatically assumed that this kid stole the doll, like they're like just because he couldn't find it. Like you've misplaced anything in your life before, and like nobody's ever been at your house, and you're just like automatically that guy stole it, and it's like, well, that's a pretty big leap of judgment. Like like. It could have been anything. Plus, too, we know, because I caught on really early on. I don't care if we spoil it, but I saw Jeff's niece take something from a, like, they were at some, like, I don't know, not carnival, like, whatever you call it. I don't know.
That was a boy, actually. That was, yeah.
Was it? Oh, okay. It was nephew.
Yeah.
Yeah, nephew stole something from, like, they were, like, buying something from, like, a food stand. Something I don't know, and then I'm like, aha, like that kid's got a problem with stealing stuff. He doesn't need to. His parents are fucking rich, but you know how they are. Yeah. So they just want more and more and more. But anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So anyways, Jeff and Pam arrive at the Mercer house, and they get inside. Max overhears them talking about getting an ugly little boy, and assume that they are talking about selling him to an old lady instead of the ugly doll.
For $200,000.
Yes.
So now we got human trafficking involved, or at
Yes.
least assumed human trafficking.
Yes.
So Max is very scared. He's home alone. You gotta see things from his perspective. He's home alone. He had a little bit of fun being there by himself. Mind you, the montage for this was much to be desired. The first Home Alone, it's very abundantly clear that Kevin is just having a fucking blast by himself. I mean, he's doing all kinds of shit. This was like a 30-second little montage where he just kind of messes around watching some TV shows. Wears his mom's dress for a few seconds, and then that's it. Like,
Which is probably going to get a bunch of conservatives pissed off.
Of course. Yeah. I know. You see, they're trying to brainwash our kids. That part of the liberal plan, the conspiracy. Oh well, actually, it might be a plan. Actually, it might be intentional. You ever think about that? Like that's the other thing. I'm so tired of people like trying to be defensive. Like, oh no, sir, that's not their plan. We would never do that, sir. But please accept my apology, sir. It's like, what if someone just says, no, we actually did do it on purpose, and we did it because we wanna normalize that shit so people don't feel like crap. That's why we did it on purpose, and we also did it so that you would cry about it. And they be, but no one does that. They always got to play coy, like, oh my god, I had no idea we would do something like that.
Yeah, but just to let you know that just because you let your boy dress up like a Disney princess, though, that doesn't mean you're not a transphobic person and go Rademacher. Anyway, so
yeah, exactly. And also too, because you like to dress in men's or women's clothes does not automatically mean you're transgender. But,
yeah, exactly.
But fuck nuance. We can't talk about that. So
no. So anyways, back to Home Alone, Home Sweet Home Alone. So he thinks that they're going to sell him, and then there's he has these little oh yeah, during that montage though that you're talking about where he's doing things, I did like one thing there. They did have a Scarface reference there, where he's sitting there. Oh yeah, that's right. He's dressed in like a suit that's similar to Al Pacino's costume in that, and he's sitting there at a table, and instead of having a big pile of Coke in front of him, he's got a big pile of candy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That was pretty neat.
But anyways, he does have this daydream about being sold to old ladies and stuff, and which feels more in line with A Christmas Story than Home Alone.
Yeah,
because I don't remember Kevin having daydreams like that, unless I'm forgetting.
There are a couple of these like that.
But Ralphie had those in A Christmas Story and A Christmas Story 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Classic.
So it's like they're combining Christmas films,
Of course. I mean, why not? It's what they do now. God. So what sucked? The movie was good for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It was good. And then it just fell from there.
Mm-hmm. So we've got he thinks they're talking about selling him to an old lady. He attempts to scare them away by calling the cops. And then Officer Buzz McAllister arrives. But Pam flirts with him and ends up diverting him.
Very awkwardly for them.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Max starts to realize that if he finds out that he's home alone, that his parents might get arrested for leaving him. Which I'm not sure if that's how that happens, but
that was also a very Christmas story kind of thing, like where you start coming up with like worst case scenarios of like, doing something or whatever, like
yeah,
like the whole thing, like where Ralphie had to eat soap, but then he like fantasized about becoming blind from it, and like making his parents feel guilty about it and stuff like that. Well, I just saw something too. It's really interesting. So her name is Pam, and in The Office, like wasn't it like an ongoing joke where they were saying like Aaron was like the new Pam?
Yeah.
Like, so that's kind of. I mean, I'm not sure if that was intentional. It could have been like a meta thing, but
and it's played by the same beautiful actress. Anyway, so
yeah, exactly.
Ellie Kemper, who I have a crush on. Anyway, so
she's nice. Yeah.
Yes.
I've never met her. But
what's that?
So I've never met her, but yeah, she's nice.
So, Max's mom, Carol, discovers that Max has been left home alone, and yells at her stupid brother-in-law, played by Pete Holmes. I don't know why I got to point out that it's played by Pete Holmes every time I talk about him. But
twice already. Played by Pete Holmes.
Yeah. See, there's this thing. Okay, I like Pete Holmes to a point, but too much of Pete Holmes is annoying. There's just enough of Pete Holmes in this movie. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so
he's not my favorite.
No,
well, pretty much of it, and there's even such thing as too much Robin Williams for me. Yeah. So it's like
exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like Pete Holmes can be good in small doses. There was enough of him in this movie, and that's it. So yeah. Any more, and it probably would have been annoying. No offense to you, Pete Holmes. You're a great guy. Anyway, so she decides to buy a ticket and head back to get her son. So the next day, the McKenzies are heading to church. And at the church, they run into their realtor, Gavin Washington. Oh, yeah, by the way, earlier, the kids come home that they were keeping, that they, the parents were lying to, like parents do. And they convinced the kids that, tried to convince the kids that Gavin was a personal trainer to the dad. So, yeah. And then and then he had balloons, and the reason he had balloons is because they're celebrating him taking the first step and getting rid of his flab. So the Gavin goes into them at church, and he tells them that they have an offer on the house, but they need to decide by the end of the year, putting pressure on them. As it's near Christmas, so it's towards the end of the year. So Max arrives at the church because he sees that there's like gifts for needy or something, kids or something. So he thinks that he needs them.
Yeah, but again, just like before, with the rich people, he lives in the house that has a literal chandelier in it. He needs toys, man. He needs them. Yep.
That's how it goes. And so the excuse me, folks, if there was any noise in the background, I'm sorry about that. There's my neighbors were just leaving, I think. So I could hear it in my ears. So just letting you know. So the so anyways, he has a conversation there unknowingly with the McKenzie's son, Chris. He who was dropping off a Nerf gun to the toy drive, and he gives him the Nerf gun. Jeff and Pam see Max talking with an elderly woman out there who is in charge of that and assumes that she is his grandmother. They resolve to break into the house once again while the rest of the family is still at church because they think that, you know, the house is empty now. So they end up sneaking around the back of the house, but end up in the wrong house, the neighbors, who don't notice anything because they're all telling a story and not paying attention.
No, yeah.
So
And then they almost drown in a swimming pool in cold dead of winter. So, you know,
yeah,
that would have been a good story right there.
Mm-hmm. So
local couple orphans their children by drowning in the swimming pool in winter when they were trying to rob another person's house.
Yep, like you do.
Like,
so they end up at the neighbor's backyard. They fall into the pool because they don't see the pool there because it's covered in snow. They're in the back of Max's house eventually. They're all completely frozen. So Max overhears them and hears Jeff agreeing to arrive later that night dressed as Santa Claus in an effort to fool him. Max responds by setting up a bunch of traps in the house while Jeff and Pam wait for their family to fall asleep on Christmas Eve. This movie.
Yep. And this is, of course, this is, of course, where all the good shit happens. Well, so-called good shit happens, where Max begins to manifest his multiple personality disorders on display, which he'd already hinted at throughout the beginning, because, for one thing, he already exhibited traits of narcissism and being a sociopath when he was in the car with his mom, because he was complaining about something. Boo-hoo, I'm a rich kid, blah, blah, blah. Why do we have to, share a house with our relatives? Can't we just have a mansion to ourselves? Oh, poor me. Oh, I need to go to the bathroom, Mom. Oh, let's just wait till we get home, Max. Oh, I can't wait. I'm spoiled brat. I need everything my way and my desired time. Okay, we'll go lie to these nice people who are trying to sell a house because they can't afford it anymore because the husband lost the job and the mother can't make enough money to pay for it by herself. Sure, we'll just use their toilet for free while I pretend that I want to buy it, and then you can go and fiddle around with the guy's dolls and then make fun of him while you're at it, just for good measure. Like, haha, just twist that knife a little bit more. Yeah, I feel so powerful. I'm Maximilian. Fuck you. And then so that's not enough. Now he's got the taste for violence. Now he really wants now it's like a legal kill. It's like Kyle Rittenhouse. Like, yeah, it's like I wanted someone to attack me so I could shoot them. I'm like, well, that's Maximilian right there. He's like, yes, I'm so glad people broke into my house. Now I have the right to shoot. Billiard balls, mind you. Those are pretty heavy. It's a lot of power behind those. He has a little pool ball gun. Shoots it right in the guy's forehead. Could have killed him. Murder right there. Took a man's life. It probably gave him a little rush too, like just seeing the light go out of their eyes. Like, yes.
It's like most of the things that it's basically it's basically all these things that he did. And like the things that Kevin did in the other movies and stuff like that, they could basically kill people, but it's totally like cartoon humor, where yeah.
But Kevin had a legitimate excuse, and yes, he thought at first that they were trying to kidnap him, but obviously they didn't look threatening, and obviously their tone of voice, was like. You could tell that they weren't like hardened criminals like the Wet Bandits were.
Yeah.
Like we just want to talk. Like there's a big misunderstanding. But again, that might be one of his personality disorders where he can't tell the difference between tones because he's got red in his eyes. Just wants to kill, kill, kill. So like to him, it's just all he sees is like an enemy that he needs to destroy to like give him that sense of like power, like I am a living god, type of thing. So like. that could be it. To be fair to him, he might be like a serial killer in the making. So just to be fair, he might have like a severe mental disorder that puts him as a danger to society. Okay, so that's
what this is setting up. It's a sequel.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is.
Prison, sweet prison, and
prison, yeah, exactly. And that's where he woos the prison guards with his charm, and then they start, letting their guard down to give him like a little bit more freedom. Then he ends up causing havoc and chaos because people like that, they just love the chaos. They love violence. They feed off of it. Gives them life. So he committed multiple harmful actions that could have caused permanent, lasting injuries, possibly resulting in death multiple times, such as through fire. Which I could add pyromania to the list right there. He might have a thing with fire, like yes, like I'm burning this woman's feet off. He also has a thing with like heavy balls, where he's like, okay, that's kind of weird, but like like you shoot like
But anyways,
I don't like Mac. I think he's a piece of shit. But,
okay, so Jeff and Pam trying to steal stuff there on Christmas Eve. They're steal the doll back. They're subjected to all these like elaborate traps of Max's, which are not as clever as Kevin's. They discover that Max did not steal the doll, but instead stole a can of soda. They clear up the misunderstanding, but by talking to Max after, Max has basically almost killed both of them. There was a weird thing that he did where when Jeff was like knocked out, he puts a virtual reality Oculus type thing on Jeff's face, and then Jeff thinks he's like on top of a mountain or something.
Why?
Yeah.
You think that Max has the ability to call a helicopter in?
Yeah.
Charter a helicopter and then take them to the Grand Canyon or something like that? What?
And I've not used any of this virtual reality stuff, but I don't think it's that believable where it would be.
I do not think it's that at all. I mean, I don't know, but
yeah.
That's the other thing too. The kid's got a fucking Oculus. Those things aren't cheap. And, he lives in the house with a chandelier, and it's just him and his parents, so 3 people in that big of a house. No need for that. No need at all for that. That's too much space just for one person to have. Quit being greedy, share it. Okay. That's my point right there. But, he's shooting thumbtacks at Pam.
Yeah.
So apparently his mom taught him it's okay to cause physical harm to women. So I guess that was also what she was teaching him. I guess it was kind of it kind of makes sense because she was letting him steamroll her on the way to the house to go to the bathroom. So I guess she was teaching them, oh, well, I'm going to cave into your demands. So now that's given you the idea that you could treat all women like this because that's what happens, when your parents, show you manifest certain qualities, you tend to adopt those or you tend to behave certain ways to people of the various different genders, so that could have been, his way of like, well, I can shoot Pam in the face with darts or thumbtacks or whatever,
this whole movie could have been avoided if only there was like a 7-Eleven on the way to where they were driving that they could have stopped at and used the restroom instead of this.
Or, maybe she should have just like, just dropped them off and just picked them back, no, you can't do that anymore. But like, she could have just like, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, she's just, he's a brat. She needed to be a little bit more firm with him because he's a shit. So he almost killed Pam, because that could have caused infections, mind you. You don't know where those thumbtacks could have been. They could have been dirty. So that could have caused various infections in her face. Which
the scars from it went away really fast, though.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm not sure why, but you got some magical potion that nobody knows about. I wouldn't be surprised. The house looked pretty big. They probably got all kinds of, fancy stuff there that, us normal folks, don't have access to. So, it's interesting, because in this, oh, by the way, so he steals the energy drink. Well, still theft, still stole something from there.
Yeah, because we find out that he stole the can of soda instead of the doll.
Yeah, but he still stole something. But not only that, the only reason why the guy didn't give it to him is because he didn't feel like he had. It wasn't like he was withholding it to be a jerk. He didn't know. Even go ask your mom. So what? It's his job to go downstairs, ask. Well, yeah, that's Max. I mean, again, Max is a rich kid, so that's his life. Is we have butlers and people who do things on our behalf, and we don't actually have to do anything on our own. So of course, it's this guy's job in his own home, mind you, to walk downstairs from the task he was doing at hand, which is collecting his weird dolls or whatever. Going down, just know what his mom is. Doesn't know what she looks like, but I guess just go to any female person inside the house that he doesn't know. Are you Maximilian's mom? Are you Max? He doesn't even know. I don't think he even knows his name. So,
No.
Are you the mom of the kid with glasses? By the way, he wants an energy drink. Is it okay if he has it? Oh, it is okay. Cool. I'm gonna walk back upstairs now and give him the energy drink. No, fuck you, Max, you piece of shit. You can't have it. Sorry.
So, so the movie then continues where they realize that Max is home alone, so they decide to take him to their house. And
how cute! How nice!
And take care of him until the mom comes home, and they get a hold of the mom. And so the Carol arrives, gets the kid. They find out that before that they actually found out that Ollie stole the doll. That's the little shit who's the nephew.
Yep.
So then they get the doll. They're able to keep the house. So Carol arrives to pick up Max, and having moved into their house only 2 months ago, finds friends in the McKenzies and thanks them for taking care of Max. And then we cut to 1 year later, and the Mercers and the McKenzies have Christmas dinner together.
Aww.
With Jeff having gotten a new job and willingly gives Max a can of that soda he craved a year prior.
Aww.
The end. Okay, so you want to take a break, Matt, and we'll come back and talk about we'll talk about some trivia and some reviews.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we'll be right back.
What is Gen X? What is the silent generation? What do generations have in common? Hi, I'm Trish the Dish from the Gen X Voice podcast, and I invite you to listen to conversations I have with folks from different generations, backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences in an attempt to see what connects rather than divides us. Even though Gen X has been called slackers, Karens, or not mentioned at all in some cases, we are the bridge generation, so I feel compelled to do my part to destroy ageism by bringing all these voices together. And, as a bonus, each guest gets to answer some 80s questions at the end of each show. So download and listen to Gen X Voice today on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And let's see how much we have in common after all.
Hi, this is Catherine, host of a new fashion podcast, The Real Fashion School Dropout. Join me as I interview guests every week in the fashion and beauty space, and we gossip on all things fashion and beauty, and even get into some personal stories of their journey in the industry. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Hope to see you there.
And we are back. Okay, so here's some trivia, Matt. Ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay, Chris Columbus, the director of Home Alone and Home Alone 2, had the following to say when the topic of this reboot came up during an interview while promoting The Christmas Chronicles Part 2 in 2020. Nobody got in touch with me about it, and it's a waste of time as far as I'm concerned. What's the point? I'm a firm believer that you don't remake films that have the longevity of Home Alone. You're not going to create lightning in a bottle again. It's just not going to happen, so why do it? It's like doing a paint-by-numbers version of a Disney animated film, a live-action version of that. What's the point? It's been done. Do your own thing. Even if you fail miserably, at least you have come up with something original.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exact fucking league.
So
yeah, because you saw the documentary about that, how they made Home Alone, how everything just came together, like, just perfectly, like it was meant to be. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fate almost.
Yeah.
Technically, this was, quote, meant to be, but, like, there's certain things that are meant to be, and there's certain things that are forced to exist. So it's, quote, meant to be, but not really.
Yeah.
Home Alone 1 literally could not have happened without the stars aligning. I mean, everything just fell in place at the exact right time, with the exact right people. Nothing else could have, same right year. Like, Home Alone could not have come out in 1988 or 1993. It had to be that exact year. Everything, I mean, yeah. But this movie, I mean, I guess it was meant to be because it exists, but it's not, you know, I mean, just I guess how, like, demons exist, or, you know, if you're religious or whatever, doesn't mean that, you know, it's good. You know, it's like, yes, I'm comparing this movie to demons, so just so we're clear on that.
So, the premiere date was November 12th, aka 11/12. The alarm code was 1112.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
What's so clever?
Like I've said before, this is the sixth version. Sixth movie in the Home Alone franchise.
Yeah.
Okay, the movie that Hunter is watching is a modernized version of the fictional movie Angels with Filthy Souls, which Kevin watched in the original movie Home Alone. Yep, so...
And this time they're watching, like, a dumb version of it.
It's like in space or something.
Yeah, it was like, oh... And they even make some little comment, like, oh, like they're doing the whole, what's it called, lamp shading, where they're like, oh, like, you know, they just always have to recycle things, you know, but make it work. Like, haha, get it? That's what we're doing. It's like, yeah, well, if you okay, hold on a sec. If you're self-aware that what you do sucks, then why are you doing it? Like, it makes no sense. Like you're just, like, it's like, you shouldn't be doing the thing that you're self-aware of doing. Like, I don't go around and start punching people and be like, oh, I'm so self-aware that I'm punching people. It's such a bad habit of mine. You know, like, what the fuck, dude? Like, it's a mental health, help or whatever. Like, it's really irritating.
So, one of the Lego models that Pam is stepping on when breaking into the Max's house is the Eiffel Tower. In the original Home Alone, the McAllister family was traveling to Paris when leaving Kevin home alone. Yeah, and like we said before, Devin Rattray reprised his role as Buzz. That's all of the trivia from the Internet Movie Database.
That, and also, too, they have a McAllister alarm system, so apparently Kevin's rich, I guess, or something, because he built his own. I mean, our alarm system's really... I mean, seems like he would have gotten pretty late into the alarm system game. I mean, even if he was 18...
Yeah, well...
1998 or something like that. Like, you know.
There are alarm systems that started after that are pretty popular. You know, like what is that one?
Cobra.
No, there's one. Simply Safe, which tends to advertise lots of podcasts. It could be advertising ours for all I know. So,
wow.
Yes. It'd be funny if that is one of the sponsors on this episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So
that algorithm, like, hears us talking about, you know, alarm systems. So
If it is, let us know, because I'll never listen to the episode on the podcast, the podcast app to know.
Wow. Yeah, everyone else should listen to our stuff, but not us.
Yeah. I listened to it enough when I edit it. So,
yeah. No, I'm so afraid. I listened to one, just part of the Aladdin one, the one from Florida, Miami, whatever, Al Haddon.
Yeah.
With my friend Andrew. And like, not only that though, we were in a car, so I couldn't really escape it. I'm like, we gotta turn this off. I'm gonna just jump out of the car. Like, if we
did Andrew like it at least?
What's that?
Did Andrew like it at least?
He did. He was kind of upset that I wanted to turn it off, actually.
Oh,
okay. I couldn't handle it. Listen to it later if you want or something. Like.
Okay, so before I get into these reviews, I actually read a review in somewhere else. Like somebody was complaining about it. I don't remember where, but they were talking about the thing they hated the most about the movie is the fact that the kid was British.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm like, why would that be the problem?
Yeah, I don't really see what that...
They're like, it's pointless for the kid to be British.
I hate the movie because it sucks, not because that the kid's British.
Not because Archie hates his British. I mean, what the hell?
I mean, it does add a layer to his insulting demeanor, of course.
Yeah.
Because, Brits tend to be kind of witty.
Yeah.
And think you're better than everyone else because the sun never sets on the British Empire. Well, it does now, so fuck you. But anyway,
yeah. So our friend Ryan from New Realms Media had actually said something on a post I made about this. Just wondering, he said that after seeing it, he thinks that this might be the new worst movie of the year. After He's All That. So
I don't know, man. He's All That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So I think this was a little bit better than that, because at least this movie has a cast of actual actors.
Yeah.
Well, not the big. I mean, the one dude's from Cobra Kai, so he's a real actor. Not the woman who's like a TikTok star, which I don't count in the profession, because I'm old and I don't understand TikTok, so therefore it doesn't count in the real profession. YouTube, of course, counts because I was young when YouTube got started. So of course, I mean, that's anything else is bad.
That's like a guy I work with. I was telling him that the movie starred a TikTok star, and he says those things don't exist.
They do,
and I was like, "Yeah, they do." I mean, I'm sorry, just because you're too old to understand it, and I might be too, doesn't mean that there aren't people that are rich off of TikTok. I mean, look at like Little Nas X and stuff. Like there's people that have become huge from this freaking shit. So.
No, it's true. It's just like the idea of thinking that other countries don't exist. It's like just because you haven't been there doesn't mean there's like a whole other world there of like content that like you just have no idea what's out because you don't look at it.
I mean, it's the whole xenophobic way of looking at life. I mean, it's just sort of.
If anything, TikTok has kind of taken place over YouTube and these older apps, and it's just a lot of people just don't want to transfer over. I don't want to.
No.
I've got used to YouTube. I know how it works. I know how you upload videos.
Well, I waited until the last minute to join Facebook. I was a MySpace guy through and through.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
yeah, me too. I love MySpace. Yeah, the only reason why I joined Facebook is because every one of our friends was leaving MySpace to go there, and I'm like, well, fuck, I guess now I have to. Fuck you assholes, because which I'll eventually stray apart after a few years anyway, and we'll probably have like a friend reunion 15 years later when someone dies or whatever. God, that got really morbid. Whoa.
Yes, that's how it goes.
Talk about the good days, whatever. Then we'll have a coffee, shed a tear, and then we'll go off. You won't see each other again for another 10 years.
Until somebody else dies. Anyway, so
and then say we should do this more, not under these circumstances, and then don't do it.
Yeah, those are the exact conversations I had when my grandmother and my aunt and my cousin passed away with my family. That was all within the same year. And,
oh God!
Yeah, and I have not seen really many of them since my cousin's funeral. So I'm just saying. Yeah. So. I mean, that's my fault as much as anybody's. But so here's a 1-star review from the Internet Movie Database from November 12th, 2021. This is from Jake the Snake 42007. As bad as I thought it would be. Why? That's all I kept saying to myself. First off, maybe they could have done a good Home Alone film if it was done right. But no, it was done awful. First off, the kid was awful. The character is so unlikable. What a brat. The bandits are not really bandits. They're just stupid people. The supporting characters are also bad. They try so hard to be like the original characters. The plot is worse. There's no character development. The effects are so bad. So bad too. At night you can tell it's CGI. The traps are also so bad. Just awful film. Another 1 star here from Twanster 97655, written on the 13th of November. This is a 1 out of 10. Avoid, soulless cash cow. The film has no redeeming moments, by far the worst of the franchise. They could head in so many directions and even use original casting to bring the franchise back, but once again, they've dug up an old title and made this hollow, soulless movie. It looks and feels like a low-budget sitcom. Director, cast, and production just awful. Dreadful. File this one under should not have happened. But again, in today's industry, it's about quantity, not quality. Everyone involved got paid well, but they'll probably regret doing this one later on in their careers.
I would hope so. What's her name? I always forget her name. The Kim, is her name Kim?
Oh, from Kim Possible? I mean, not
no,
Kim Possible, from Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah, what's her name again?
Ellie Kemper. Not Kim Possible. I'm just...
No, Ellie Kemper.
Yeah.
She was actually on the Late Show with Colbert talking about the movie, and I felt so bad. I'm like, oh my God, they're having her promote this? Like, oh man, oh man, I felt so bad for her. Because she's sitting there trying to, really play it up, too. Like, oh my God, how sad do you feel right now? Or who knows, maybe they think it's good. I can't imagine why they would. Then again, they might not actually because a lot of actors don't watch their own films, just like how we don't listen to our own podcasts for the most part. So maybe they only saw the scenes she was in, or since she acted in those scenes, that's a different perspective as well than seeing it on film. So maybe she had fun doing those scenes, that it's different than how it, because you add music and shit that's not there when you're filming, stuff like that. So
my main issue with this movie, I think I'm done reading, but these reviews are all pretty much the same. So I mean, there's a couple of good ones, like saying things like cute movie to watch with your kids and stuff like that. But no really good reviews. Okay, my main issue with this movie is the fact that it made us give a shit about the burglars.
Yeah.
Because the thing is you gave the burglars backstory, and they weren't really burglars. So it basically made everything that Max did in this movie very just sadistic.
Yeah.
And you didn't have a clear-cut antagonist and protagonist in this film. It was just a misunderstanding that could have been solved through good communication.
Yeah.
Or
granted,
just waiting. I mean, I know they were on a rush by the end for their house being sold by the end of the year, but they didn't necessarily have to take that bid on the house, even though he said that's the best you're going to get.
Right.
But they didn't necessarily have to take the best they were going to get. They could have waited until after the, holidays were over and wait for the Mercers to come home and be like, hey, Mrs. Mercer, I think your kid stole our doll.
Or took it.
Or
whatever. Yeah, exactly. So it really is their fault. I mean, you should not be breaking into a person's house, even if you are just trying to retrieve what you think is yours. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, you can't be like, oh, this guy stole my Frisbee, or I think he did, so I'm just going to go, like, break into his house when he's not home and I won't take anything else. I'll just take the Frisbee. No, it doesn't work that way.
It's still breaking and entering.
It is. So really, they shouldn't have done that. That was really stupid on their part.
Yeah, I mean, I know they were stupid in their choices and everything, but they gave us sympathy for them, and you kind of actually felt bad for them. And I don't know if that necessarily works in a movie like this, because it's like you don't know. Like let's bring it back to the Roadrunner and Coyote. You don't need to know the backstory as to why the freaking Roadrunner is chasing the Coyote. I mean,
Right.
The other way around. I'm sorry, that the Coyote's chasing the Roadrunner. You don't need to know the backstory of that. You just, watch it for the slapstick. And that's kind of like what the first one was. You know that these guys were trying to steal shit, but you just knew they were thieves. That's all, They were the wet bandits. They didn't, you didn't know that, the reason they're stealing money is because, Marv had cancer and he needed, I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would have made the story a lot worse.
Yeah.
Like that's the other thing. They were living out of the van too. They didn't even have a house or a home.
Mm-hmm.
They were living in a cold winter in a van.
Yeah.
They had a bed back there that they had to share. They had nothing but SpaghettiOs to eat from.
And their wives left them, and
Marv cut himself on one of the cans and has an infection that he can't go to the hospital for. So now they're just trying to treat it with Neosporin.
No, they were just stereotypical burglars. They weren't, they weren't sympathetic characters. And I know that you want to try to give, backstories to characters sometimes, but you don't need. I mean, it's like in Die Hard, Hans Gruber was just this bad guy running this group of people who was trying to steal, stuff from Nakatomi Plaza or whatever. You didn't need to know that, what happened to him before the night of Christmas Eve when this took place,
His whole backstory. He grew up as a son of a cobbler.
Yeah.
He did an apprenticeship with his uncle, but then the Nazis came and they burned down the place because they were secretly hiding Jews, and then they forced Hans to shoot someone so that he wouldn't have to become a member of the Nazi party. So he just randomly had to choose which person, and then he did it, and then afterwards he felt numb. So then he just became a terrorist because he doesn't care about anything anymore. It's like, what the fuck?
I mean, it's why Darth Vader was scarier before the prequels came out.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you know why Anakin became Darth Vader. It doesn't really necessarily help his scariness. I'm not saying that they're necessarily bad movies or they don't add to the mythology and shit, but what I'm saying is that it was scarier in 1977 when the original came out to, or whenever you saw it before the prequels came out, to like just, this guy, and it's like even after you watch the second and third of the original trilogy and you find out that he's, Luke's dad and shit, you still didn't necessarily need to know what happened during the Clone Wars. You didn't necessarily need, I'm not saying that none of this, I think the Clone Wars show is good and all that other shit, but you know what I mean? It's like it's almost like when you explain things too much. Yeah. It's like the difference between John Carpenter's Halloween and Rob Zombie's Halloween. In Rob Zombie's Halloween, he gives you the backstory as to why Michael Myers is the way he is. It's kind of scary just to think of him as a boogeyman who's out killing babysitters,
Yeah, exactly. He's like a spiritual, spiritual being who's kind of almost immortal. He can't be killed, or it's very impossible to kill him for whatever reason.
You don't need to know why he's doing it.
Like, it's scary. It's like, why can't he die? Is he being possessed by a demon? Is he a demon? Is he human?
Yeah. So, overall, I think this movie could have been better if you didn't give me the backstory and explanation as to why the burglars are breaking into the house and make me actually care about them and give a shit,
Yeah.
I don't know. So, On a scale of 1 to 10, Matt, what do you rate this movie?
A 2.
Yeah. I'm feeling about a 2, maybe 3. 3 for some of the performances. So, that's it.
Gotta be generous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, anyways, anything else to say about this, Matt, before we wrap things up?
Nothing at all. No.
Okay, so, my suggestion is if you want to watch this movie, just watch Home Alone 1 or 2 instead.
That's on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Maybe even watch Home Alone 3.
Is Home Alone 4 on Disney Plus or not?
No, the only ones that are on there are 1, 2, 3, and this one.
So why aren't the other one? Are they like different companies that made or something? Or
I don't know. I think they were made by Fox, so I don't know what the deal is. Maybe they just want to ignore them, like they don't exist.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. So, someday I do want to cover Home Alone 5, the Holiday Heist, for our podcast. Maybe next Christmas we will. We'll see.
So, what's that one about? I never saw that one.
I've only seen part of it. It's like 2 kids left home alone in this one, and
okay.
I don't know. I know Malcolm McDowell's in it. So,
yeah, there's, that's interesting. That's really interesting right there, Malcolm McDowell, because he's a really good actor. And that seems very sad that he had to do this movie. But anyway, but hey, sometimes the great ones they still have to eat, so
Yeah.
But there's this movie from France. I think I told you about it once. Maybe we can do it sometime. I'm not sure. I don't know because it's got subtitles. It's in French, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I might just tell you what it is or they might have a dubbed version. I don't know. But so apparently the dude who directed this movie or wrote it or whatever, I guess he was trying to say that Home Alone stole his idea of the thing, but I don't really know if it's true or not because this it's a French film, so obviously it's going to be like really weird, bleak, and dark because French people. Yeah, because you're allowed to be xenophobic against other European people. It's fine, I already said stuff against British people. That's totally fine.
Xenophobia is not the fear of the warrior princess.
No, it's not. It should be, because you should fear the warrior princess very much. Or if you got like a thing for strong women, maybe you don't fear, maybe you like it. I don't know. Just saying, but But anyway, this movie's so bleak and dark. So like, it's almost literally the same exact concept, but it's just such a it's like a suspense film. Like this kid, his mom owns like a really big toy shop, like almost like a mall. Like it's a huge, like a huge store. And I think her dad owned it before she did and founded it, so she's like the one that's taking care of it now, whatever. And she has to fire this dude who is like one of the Santa Clauses there because he was like, I think he came to work drunk a couple of times and he was like, just acting rowdy and causing like a disturbance or whatever so she had to go fire him. Well, naturally this drunk Santa Claus took it personally that he got fired. And like most people, who have substance abuse issues and don't want to take responsibility for their own actions, of course it's not his fault. It's the rich woman's fault who fired him. Not the fact that he came into work drunk as Santa Claus, being surrounded by children.
Well, we'll have to look up this movie.
Yeah, he finds out where she lives. I guess I don't know how, and it's like it's a pretty beyond mansion, a pretty big house, and he basically is like there to, I don't know, kidnap her kid. I forgot, or just I don't know exactly what his reasoning for there was, but like, and he sets up all kinds of traps and stuff. But it's it's not at all a comedy. It is absolutely insane. Like at one point, like he kills his dog and shit.
Okay, well, we'll have to look up this movie sometime and maybe cover it for a future podcast.
It's called Pierre Noel, like 112. No, it's not moment. It's like it's got a number. It's on YouTube for free, or at least it was. Someone uploaded it. It's a very, very dark movie.
Well, we'll look that up. You might want to too, folks. Who knows? And yeah. But anyways, until next time, folks. 'Tis the season to be jolly, so be jolly with each other. You know. Wait, that sounded dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did not mean that. So, just be merry, be bright, wear a mask, wear a condom. Yep. Follow us on all2real2.com. You can check out everything on there for all of our information. Share the show with your friends. That's really important. Just, share this episode if you enjoyed it, or any of our other episodes. Just share them with your friends. That helps us out a lot. Give us a 5-star review. And until next time, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.